That's California. Doesn't surprise me.
I know,
Right?
I know, right? And I was like, geez, no wonder John went to Florida.
Yeah. California is like
I know.
absolutely
Oh my
nuts.
God.
What do you think the future is going to look like for Airbnb? I hear like Starwood, for example, they have like 170,000 rentals,
Yeah.
and then you have Equity Residential, Sam Zell. I think he has like 130,000. I heard something that those companies, along with some other large corporate landlords, are going to start entering Airbnb. Do you think that's going to be a thing in which it's going to bring more people into the space?
I'm actually not familiar with those two brands. Can you tell me a little bit about them?
Sure. So Barry Starlett, he owns Starwood. So it's one of the largest
Yeah, Starwood.
multifamily and single family investors in America. And Sam Zell, they have a partnership with Airbnb to where they're going to start to bring this into a lot of their buildings nationwide.
And how many units do they own, or how many
Collectively about 300,000.
And they're planning on entering the short-term rental market.
Yeah.
Yeah, super interesting.
Yeah, so I think some really cool things are going to be happening in this space.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really interested. What are some of the...
There's two sides to it, right? Just yesterday, a buddy of mine sent me on Instagram this post that they're going to start imposing like a 15% tax on short-term rentals in California. And it's supposed to be for...
That's California. Doesn't surprise me. Right?
I know, right? And I was like, geez, no wonder John went to Florida.
Yeah. California is like
I know.
absolutely
Oh my
nuts.
God.
I just had so many crazy things happen to me that I'm like, screw this. Like,
but anyways, so there's a lot of interesting things happening where it makes you think like, wow, we're not even scratching the surface. Things are going to go to another level. Like I hear stories like this. These big name brands that are entering the short-term rental market, but then you hear other things like, hey, they're going to impose this no tax, and then one of my buddies, he does a lot of commercial real estate, and he's telling me how some of the big hotels are trying to, get with the state and create more regulation to create more limitations on short-term rentals, because then it's going to help their hotel business. And sure enough, this new 15% tax on short-term rentals in California doesn't impact hotels. It's only like short-term rentals. So there's like these two sides that are like constantly competing. So it's going to be really interesting what happens. I don't think short-term rentals are going to go away. I think if anything, they're just going to try to make their piece of the pie as well. But I believe short-term rentals are going to be here for the long term.
I 100% agree with you. I think that they're here to stay. And I think what's very likely going to happen here is we're going to start seeing a lot of people, like I mentioned a little bit ago, to rent out their homes, and they're going to look for ways in which they can maximize profits. And short-term rentals probably seem like, especially in tourist areas, Dallas, LA, South Florida, New York, some of these areas in which command higher rents and a higher cost of living, people are going to be like, you know what? Because what's crazy is that the average down payment for a first-time home buyer between 2020 and 2022 is only 6%. And then a second home for people is 13%. So if you look at it like a median of like 10% down, the cost of sale is 7%, and interest rates basically doubled. Most people don't have equity. And so if they're like, okay, the job market's kind of softening and things are kind of changing, people definitely will be renting out their homes, I think, more and more often. And so like having an Airbnb strategy like what you're teaching and what you're doing, I think could save a lot of people and help people make a ton of money. What are some red flags people should look out for if they're going to explore that?
Absolutely. Yeah, just to kind of add on to what you said, there's a lot of people out there in that situation where now they're making less money, or they recently got, now they're unemployed. And short-term rentals is like the only thing that's going to be able to save them from not being able to pay their mortgage. So many people are relying on short-term rentals just to like cover their costs. But yeah, some of the red flags that you want to look out for, and this is mainly for larger homes, but anytime you have somebody from the same city, that's one, who has a brand new profile, like, hey, this profile was created in May of 2023, and they have no reviews, and they want to book your property next Friday and Saturday, that's like a red flag. Like the reason I think of one of the biggest reasons we have a lot of regulation in short-term rentals is because all these people that have thrown parties. And if you think about it, right, maybe there's 8 people on the reservation, but now 22 other people came. They took up all the parking. They're super loud, more wear and tear to the property, and all the neighbors are upset. And that's one of the biggest reasons why even a lot of landlords are against subleasing their properties, because all they think when they hear the word Airbnb is party. And so those are some of the red flags that we usually look out for, is if they're from the same city, brand new profile with no reviews, and it's like a short notice booking on the weekend. You want to make sure you do some digging and try to scare them off, or just not accept the reservation.
Right.
If you've enjoyed this clip and you'd like to watch the full episode, you can do so on my main YouTube channel by clicking the video here.